if I have to chase this ball and you see my underwear, that does not count against this potential relationship.
That's a very straightforward conversation to have.
She might be like, "Oh, this guy knows what's up."
Yeah.
Or she's like, wow, this guy's kind of weird. Who talks like that?
Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform designed to help you build your brand or business online. Whether that's starting out or scaling up your digital presence, Squarespace has got you covered. More on that later.
Welcome back to another episode of The Break Room, a place where storytellers come together to talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Close enough.
Yep.
and everything in between.
There you go.
I'm Benson.
I am Austin.
I'm Michelle. We're doing this Asking for a Friend segment. Every episode, we receive questions from coworkers and viewers who are hoping to gain invaluable or potentially unvaluable advice on love and relationships. And this question is from someone.
Oh, I don't know. Who asks a lot of questions on this show? I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's just a general question.
You know, okay, so
for the class.
This question's for the class. In my for anyone else that has nerdier habits, should you be hiding these on your dates?
I think they're just quirky habits.
Let's say, like, okay, first date we go where there's like an activity, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say it's like hatchet throwing or whatever, right? Just as a hypothetical. And I'm really, really bad at hatchet throwing.
Okay. I don't think
Like,
anyone's good at it.
But like, what if you're like exceptionally bad at it? Like,
I don't think that's a huge ick.
This is such an interesting way to get into this. It's so specific.
like other one would be like let's say you know the girl well enough where you pick her up for the first
Yeah.
date, and you have to parallel park. And let's say you're not the best one at parallel parking because your car doesn't have a backup camera.
Oh, I think it depends. You can't know what someone's icks are, because for me, I'm bad at parallel parking, so I wouldn't really like be turned off by it.
Okay.
But if I went on a date and then I went to the bathroom and I saw that his ass was out,
Wait, what?
You know how like people's like
Oh, like
What?
their clothes don't fit right.
No,
or
it's more
something.
like, you know how guys like to have loose pants and they like to have their underwear show.
Oh, sure.
And
Like
then
that
it's
style,
like,
yeah.
You know how it's like very similar to like, oh, if someone picks something up, they bend over and then you can see like
Oh, okay,
it's like that,
okay.
but like let's say they're in a chair and they're not aware that like
They see their whole butt crack.
their shirt is like a little up and then they're like
Okay,
boxes
okay.
are a little low. That's a pretty big egg, man.
Like
At the end of the day, I feel like you should always put yourself in a position to like showcase the best features of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying that you should like put on the front or something
Yeah.
like that, but like highlight what you're good at. Like if you're not good at axe throwing, maybe do
Maybe
something
don't
that you
go
are
axe
good at.
throwing.
Maybe you're really good at archery, right? Like
where are we going? Archery.
there's archery places.
Or
Oh,
maybe go
man.
to round one if you're really good at crane games.
Yeah.
Like
And it's
don't
if you can't parallel park, please don't parallel park because you're putting two cars at risk and your relationship.
maybe 3.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what if I'm like, wow, this girl really likes round one. I'm really bad at these crane games, but
Yeah.
I know she really likes it, so we're gonna go there. Is that a really bad idea?
I think then go to round 1 on the third date when she likes you a little
she
bit
really
more.
locked you in.
We've already
Yeah.
She's already locked onto your good features.
yeah.
This is what one of my friends have said before. She's like, and this is not like about icks. This is
Yeah.
also with like the nerd personality.
Yeah.
This is what one of my friends said. She's like, you know, when you meet someone, you don't want to like immediately turn on the whole faucet.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the video that you made with the Matoki, right? You don't want to go show them the anime closet on the first date,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
throttle it 100%.
Tease it,
It has
yeah.
to be for the first date. It's gotta be like first like 10%. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
just like a little trickle. You want just some of your personality show
Yeah,
off,
okay.
but not all that will scare them away because some people might get scared
Yeah.
away by different things.
But hear me out though. If they're gonna get scared away from it anyways, shouldn't
No,
they just
no,
know
no.
about it ahead
If
of
if
time?
that's your strategy, like go for it. Let us know how that works. But I'm just saying, like, at least from what I've observed in my time,
You know,
it
it's
might
like-
not be the best.
you know, now I know when I meet people, I'm not gonna immediately go like full on Michelle cackle. You know,
why
'Cause
not?
people get really shocked by it.
But then, wouldn't you want the person to like appreciate that about you? They're
I mean,
like, "Wow,
maybe
I
that-
loved your cackle, Michelle."
Maybe that is like an ideal, but like I don't
Most
know.
of the time, people are not gonna like the cackle first. I think it's when they start liking like more of my personality, then they will find the cackle a little bit more endearing. It'll be more of like a, oh, I guess that's kind of cute, you know? Not like a, oh my god, I'm in love with her because of her cackle.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if it'll like be turned off to someone being like.
Some people will be.
Then they're not
a
the
little too
person.
shocked.
Like if it's I don't want to call it like a negative trait, but like just for the
shocking
ease,
trait.
the ease of explaining it, right? If you start with
The only
the quote unquote negatives,
yeah.
then it's like then you need a lot more positive traits to kind of distract
balance it
from
out.
that.
And that's
you know what
only
I mean?
if they give you a chance to show.
If they give you that second
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, because
right?
these are also not even like negative traits.
They're
They're just
not.
more like
it's just how.
your
Yeah, I
quirks.
don't have any
they're
other
just
words.
like I would say, there are quirks, like because not everyone will accept like the individual traits that people have.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if Benson went up immediately being like, "Hey yo, like I freaking love jujitsu and WrestleMania. That's like my thing." Like,
That's an ick.
not
No,
an
it's
ick, but I'm
definitely-
saying like being like
Yeah.
super like passionate right off the bat, because then someone's gonna be like, "Is that all of your personality?"
Well, those things are like third date and beyond. Like those are the details. And the first initial dates is you as a person.
Yeah.
Your tendencies, your personality. That's what's important on the first few dates.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of release the kraken, as they say. You know? But it's like, okay, let's go back to the axe throwing. Okay, clearly you can't throw an axe, but maybe there's something in that process that you can showcase a strength. Whether it's like your humor, your ability to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where it's like you're starting on that that high, and then the axe throwing is just like a minor, like, oh, okay, this is funny. But if it's like you're just so bad, and then you're like bad at everything else, and it's you know, it's not worth the pursuit. Let's create a different ick.
Okay,
Or,
okay.
I don't know, yeah.
A different ick.
a different ick. Okay, let's say it's switching the scenario, right?
Okay.
Or let's say I'm at a party.
Yep.
And there's beer pong at this party, and there's also
Oh.
a girl I like at this party. Do I play beer pong even though I'm bad at it, and I'm gonna have to chase after my ping pong ball because I'm very bad at beer pong.
Yeah.
But I have fun and make it look like I'm having a good time and making sure everyone else that I'm playing with has a good time.
Maybe, but is that going to be a better performance than you going in?
Yeah,
and
but I
skirting
do have to
the
chase
ball?
after the ping pong ball.
Wait, but like
like
do you want to play ping pong ball? Like, do you want to
beer pong?
Beer pong?
play beer pong?
If I want to play, but I know it'd be an ick, should I just be
Oh.
like, maybe not this time?
I would say
Oh.
avoid.
Yeah, I would
the ick
actually
if you
say
can.
Yeah, I
Really?
would also say
Avoid the
avoid
ick
it.
if you can.
But if she's like, hey, Austin, you want to be on my team?
Oh, and then if you have to preface, I'm really bad though, and then if she's like okay, then it's fine. She has accepted the terms and
Yeah.
conditions that.
Okay,
Or am I
yeah.
kind of in a lose-lose?
She
at
clicked
that
the
point?
agreement.
She
Agreed.
clicked the agreement. Like
Yeah.
if she asked you to be on the team and
Yeah.
you preface, you're like, by the way, I'm really bad, and I'm not saying it to be humble. I'm actually bad.
Just
Then
be- if I have to chase this ball and you see my underwear, that does not count against this potential relationship. Do you agree? You know?
That's a very straightforward conversation to have.
She might be like, "Oh, this guy knows what's
Yeah,
up."
yeah.
you
Or she's
know?
like, wow, this guy's kind of weird. Who talks like
Then
that?
she's not for you, man.
Yeah.
She's not for you.
Again, if she asks, I think it's different if she asks you to be on the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you saw a guy playing beer pong usually bad at it, you'd be like,
Again,
"Ugh."
personally, it's not my ick.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
personally, I don't get icked out by that, but I know people who get icked out by that.
Okay, I'm trying. What are your icks, Michelle? I'm trying to figure. I think that'll help me create scenarios where I understand how icks affect.
I don't know.
affect things.
I know the butt crack thing is a real big ick. Weaponizing confidence is an ick.
I think that's more a red flag.
Yeah. The sponsor of today's video is Squarespace. Squarespace has been essential in building out our online presence over the years. Being a production company, it's important for us to be able to showcase our videos in one place. With Squarespace, it's easier than ever to show off your video content. You can upload and organize all your content into stunning video libraries. You can even choose to monetize your content, which is perfect for online courses and other premium content. Also, Squarespace helps you get more easily discovered with the help of their integrated SEO tools. All sites on Squarespace are optimized to show up more often on search engines and help you get discovered by the right people. And if you're looking for ways to connect more with your community, you can now fundraise directly through Squarespace with the built-in donation tools. You can build a professional website that makes it easy to accept one-time contributions or recurring donations for your cause. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/wongfu to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now let's get back to the video.
So you guys were saying earlier to let it come out slowly, or if it like naturally comes out.
I think bring it up,
Yeah.
gauge their level of interest.
Yeah.
If they don't seem interested, then next topic, and then later on when they're more interested in you or invested in you, then just be like, hey, this is actually a really big interest of mine. Then see if they're interested in it too.
Like, hey, like I'm like kind of into Dungeons and Dragons, but like
No,
just
no,
a
no.
little
This
bit.
is what you do. This is what you do. You'll be like, the other day, me and my buds, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Do you play Dungeons and Dragons? And then you can see like, oh yeah, maybe I've been interested in a little
Yeah.
bit. Or they'll be like, oh no, I don't really play. Then you can gauge how to respond to that. Because if they're a little interested,
Then the next date, I show up full like in cosplay and be like, "Hey, do you want to roll
This is
some dice?"
exactly your short. We're saying don't do that. Don't
do that.
You wrote the short about.
you're like full on LARPing. Like you have to gauge their interest. Because if they're already interested in you, they'll want to know your interests anyway. So then they'll give you an opportunity
Yeah.
to like just like dial it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But don't full on like 100% yet.
If your partner or your potential partner at that point is just not reciprocating any level of, I don't know, appreciation or respect
yeah.
for your hobby or your viewpoint, then at the end of the day, then maybe that's just not the right one. And like,
Yeah.
it's probably not worth pursuing that long term.
I guess maybe the next question then be like following up from that.
Yeah.
Would be if you're on a date and someone else brings up something that you're not interested in, like how do you just be like, oh, that's cool.
Maybe
Keep
you
this
can
going?
maybe you can grow to appreciate it over time.
Yeah.
I have gone through a similar situation where
Yeah.
my wife was very into K-pop from like middle school, high school, all that. So like,
Yeah.
I did not care for it for a very long time, and I knew she did. And eventually, like, I grew a respect for the industry and like how much natural talent they have, and the work that they put in. I can appreciate it, but like
Yeah.
I still am very far from
Yeah.
a fan or a super fan. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can appreciate her enjoyment for it. But like if it was something where I was like spiritually against something, then it probably wouldn't have been right to continue the relationship to that point.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I guess the other side of like the nerdy side we didn't talk
Yeah.
about is like I think it's a lot less now, but
Yeah.
there still is like a stigma of like, oh, you're into that, like it can be viewed as like a
sure.
lower hobby or whatever to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that something you think it's smart to even just avoid bringing up in general on the first date?
No, I think again,
You could touch
if
on
it,
it, but-
if it's something you really care
Yeah.
about, it's you bring it up. You test the waters. Just how I said, I was like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
bring up a situation, even if it's fake situation. You'll be like the D&D thing, like, oh yeah, the other day me and my buds we were playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, I guess
Wait for them to respond.
it's more of like because like I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest D&D person, right? Or
Yeah, or whatever
or
you're,
gamer
like,
or
yeah.
whatever. Like, is it something you should like avoid being like, okay, maybe if I bring this up, it might go in a place they're like.
You don't need to avoid it, but you don't need it to take over the conversation
Yeah,
of
either,
course. Yeah,
because
yeah.
then it becomes less about you and
Yeah.
your fantasy self. You know?
Also,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
depends on how much you want them to be involved in this interest with you. But if you have that interest and you're just like, oh, I just want someone who like understands it, like understands that I have
Yeah.
a passion for it, but
Right.
they don't need to be involved in it.
And maybe there's aspects you can come together on.
Like again, don't like withhold like your nerdy side. Like,
Yeah.
But again, in a first date, you're trying to like kind of put your best foot forward. Not only are you trying to like impress them, you're trying to see if you're a good fit. Like, so you want to just be able to analyze if this is compatible in general as like just person to person without the interests. I mean, your interests do make up who you are, but you want to see if they're a good person, if like you can have a good conversation with each other and all that stuff. And I think that it should be more prioritized over like the like nerdy side or the quirk side.
And everybody's entitled to their boundaries too. You
Yeah.
know, if there's things that you're not comfortable with, like definitely bring that up maybe sooner than later. I think maybe that's where it is. Like if you're uncomfortable with a certain topic, maybe that's more important than what you're trying to convince the other of.
You're not trying to test them if
Yeah.
they can like keep up with you and your nerdy hobbies.
Like if I was really into gory horror movies, like definitely don't force that onto somebody else to try and accept, because maybe they can appreciate that you like that, but then, you know, definitely don't force them into that world if
Yeah.
their personality doesn't align with it.
But also I think the question kind of is rooted from like, oh, like uncertain if you can show your true real self, right? Where it's like I have this nerdy side of me that I want to show that makes up who I am. Do I have to hide that to be able to be someone who's dateable or liked? And it's like at the end of the day, it's like you won't actually ever know someone if you are just dating. Even in a relationship,
Yeah,
you're never
yeah.
you're always learning about the person as you're dating them. I don't think that's something to fear. The person who is going to be right for you will accept you for who you are, no matter how outlandish your interests are.
And there's give and take, obviously, and there's a level of fairness that comes into play where, let's say you have a hobby, you really like gaming. You want to make sure that your gaming hobby doesn't take over more than 50% of your time. Like if she's got her hobby, you need to allow her to have that same kind of outlet that you have in this situation.
Well, I think that it's important to have boundaries with any hobby. I think you 50% is a lot. You know, I think like you should.
Or as an example of
Yeah.
if there's two conflicting hobbies or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think your hobby shouldn't take precedent over your partner. I feel like that's
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think from what I've learned,
Uh-huh.
the conclusion,
Yeah.
I guess, is you try to avoid showing your icks as much as possible. Or put yourself in scenarios where you're probably not going to show off
Yeah.
too many of your icks. Because that's just
What's the opposite of
unnecessary.
ick? What's this like the ooze? So the ooze.
I don't know. What's the difference?
I don't know
ick?
what the opposite of
We'll call them ooze for now.
Ooze.
I don't know. I think it's like a 10-to-1 ratio.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
show
yeah.
10 good things, a little one ick here and there.
Yeah.
A little bit's okay.
10 more good things, one more ick.
Yeah, and then like for like the nerdy or like things that you're like you care about, like I think it's just don't overthink that, right? Just don't make that the point of any of your conversations. But you
Just
can bring it up.
slowly, just test the waters. See,
Yeah.
when you open the faucet of the nerdiness, just be 10% power,
Like don't.
and then if they seem like they're not into it, just be like, okay, going back to 5%.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if they're interested, be like, okay, let's try 15%.
I almost feel like Austin wants that competition, and like that's what I feel like that might be what you're attracted to. Like you want to come in full, I have this belief, and you want the opposite, and then it's like I don't know, like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation.
You want it?
At the end of the day, you do you, man.
Yeah.
I s-
Just be true to
yeah.
yourself.
I think for anyone out there, just be you, but try to also get to know the other person.
Yeah, you are trying to get to know the other person, and if there's some like one of your interests is like something you're really passionate about, just test the water, see if they're interested. And if they're interested in you, they will be interested in your interests. Let us know if you have any questions for us, and we'll try to answer it in future episodes. Bye.
Or leave advice. Leave advice, please.
Yeah. Bye.